In this video, we are going to talk about plotting points. This is definitely a foundational skill for Algebra 1 because we jump right into graphing pretty much right away. So if we don't really know how to plot points, then we're kind of at a disadvantage. So this video is going to help us review. Plotting points, we took essentially two number lines. We put one horizontally and one vertically. Where they cross, this is called your origin. This point right here is 0, 0. Because it's at 0 on the x-axis and it's at 0 on the y-axis. So anytime we are plotting points, we are counting just like it's a number line. So the numbers this direction on the x-axis are positive x values. The numbers this way are negative x values. Same thing for the y-axis. As you count up, those numbers get positive, and as you count down, those numbers get negative. So if I were to plot a point in this quadrant, this is called quadrant 1, then I would have both positive x values and positive y values. If I were to plot a point in the second quadrant, my x values over here are all negative, but my y values are all positive. So I would have a negative and then a positive for my numbers, my ordered pair. Down here, we have negatives and negatives, only reds. And in the fourth quadrant, we have positive x's and negative y's. So you'll see that I always wrote it with every ordered pair. It's called an ordered pair or coordinate or a point. These are all ways you'll hear it described, but it's always an x and then a comma y. It's giving us the relationship between my inputs and my outputs. So let's practice some plotting. So if they want us to plot the point -2, 3. Again, we have to know what comes first. This is our x value, this is our y value. If we want to plot this point, we need to find where on our graph x is equal to -2 and y is -3. Well, if our x-axis is the horizontal and our y-axis is the vertical, we know x is -2 right here. So not just at that spot though, but this whole line, that's x is -2. Y is +3 right here, but it's also +3 everywhere across this. So really, whoa, that was terrible. Our point is where those two pieces intersect each other. This would be the point -2, 3. Now we don't normally draw those lines, but that's a really good visual as to why that point is right there. So I'm going to call that green point, point A. We're going to do the same thing for these other guys. We're going to call this guy point B. Well, when x is 0 and y is -5, x is 0 on this line, y is -5 down here, so they end up crossing at this spot right there. 0x, y is -5. We'll call this guy point C when x is 5 and when y is 4. Well, x is 5 right here, y is 4 right here, so if I put those together, I end up right there at that spot. So 5, 4. Point D when x is -4 and y is -8. So x is -4 right there, y is -8 right there, so they end up crossing right at that crosshair. I like to call them crosshairs. I don't know what they're actually called, but we'll go with that. So -4, -8, that's point D. Then we've got point E when x is 6 and y is 0. So x is 6 here, but y is 0 here. So those end up crossing right at that spot, at 6, 0. That's point E. And then finally, point F is at +2, -3. So at +2, we're right here. -3, we're right there. So our point F is in that spot.